Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Hello, Kenny. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
Yeah, I've been here before. I'm 23.
Do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that?
Yeah, are you familiar with me? I was here around November last year.
I have so many guests daily, so can
Fair
you tell
enough.
me if you have a belief?
Yeah. My belief is in Hermeticism, as my name suggests. I could recap a few questions that you kind of pressed me
I'm
on.
going to go ahead and just ask you,
Sure.
for the audience sake. So you said that you believe in Hermeticism. The question I'd asked you, though, wasn't about moral systems or anything like that. I was asking if you had a belief in a god. Do you have a belief in a god?
Yes, I do, yeah.
And which god do you believe
in? The monad.
What is the monad?
The ineffable one. Typically in my theology, it operates off of emanations and off of
What does that mean, ineffable one?
Meaning that it's beyond human logic and reason and understanding, but connects to emanation.
What is emanation?
Emanation, depending on who you ask, a typical consensus upon emanation is that it is almost like, I guess, like a good simile, if I may. Like, you know how like the sun projects rays off of it?
So you're saying emanation is the way light comes from the sun?
Yeah, like how the sun emanates rays. That's kind of like how the monad connects to creation, is through emanation, is like through projection.
Sorry, what's emanating?
So in my system, I follow a little bit of the Aristotelian form of emanation, that there are three forms of emanation. There is the intelligence.
I said, what is doing the emanating?
What's it doing emanating? My belief in God is doing the emanation, or what I believe to be God.
So your belief in God?
No, or not what I believe to be God is doing the emanation.
The thing you believe to be God is emanating.
Yes, sir.
And it's emanating reality.
Yeah, it emanates reality through three specific.
So like a God, is it like a vapor? Like what is reality to this God?
That's a good question. So reality to this God is it is a splitting of unity into dualism.
That doesn't quite make sense. A splitting of unity into dualism.
Yes.
But when you say it's like an emanation,
yeah,
is that the splitting?
Yeah.
Is emanating splitting?
It's splitting in projection.
Splitting in projection. I have no idea what that means.
Okay, so perhaps if I give my emanation model, that can possibly help.
No.
Okay.
Kenny, why did you request up here?
Because last time I came here, I was abusing substances and I wasn't in a good mental state, and I thought I'd give this a try again. That's all.
But why did you request up this time?
Just to see if I wouldn't embarrass myself as much as I did last time. That's all.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the bravery.
I actually am kind of pulsating right now. I'm quite nervous.
I appreciate that, and I understand it can be a little intimidating for some. When I say why, I mean, what do you hope to accomplish?
I hope to accomplish at least a more intellectually honest representation of my beliefs than when I was being a zealous jerk last time.
Yeah. So, As far as, and as we've spoken, I am recalling quite a bit of our conversation from before now. Why is it important to represent your belief?
It's important to represent my belief because Hermeticism, I think, is very misrepresented in modern media. I think it's important to have a proper intellectually honest representation of it.
So you didn't question, or I'm sorry, you didn't request up then to question your belief. But rather
I'm not going to say that.
Showcase it.
I'm not going to say that. Perhaps I phrased it wrongly. I did come up here to question, but
In what way?
Well, last time I was with you, you helped me question if my syncretic and eclectic practices are culture appropriation. So I was hoping I can get some even better questions out of you on how I can intellectually not just intellectually represent myself, but to intellectually represent introspectively too.
Have you had any thoughts about the cultural appropriation?
Yeah, I have a lot. Yeah.
And just as a quick recap, in what ways do you think it's possible that Hermeticism, or the modern practice especially, can engage in cultural appropriation?
By misrepresenting ancient cultures that didn't want to be integrated properly or integrated at all. Like Egyptian culture, the one for sure.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that there is that potential there, that it is?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And in what ways do you feel that your practice avoids that?
The way I feel like my practice avoids that is by I try not to touch upon initiatory or ancestrally connected practices. For example, like African traditional religions like Voodoo, Ifa, Yoruba, African diasporic religions like Santeria, Hoodoo, and all those other things. I'm not trying to infringe upon ancestrally connected religions, rather open practices that are openly kind of like can be converted to, rather than, like I said, like familial connected religions.
So, because they're not ethnically connected, you say? What is...
Yeah, because they're not ethnically or, I guess, relationally connected.
Good morning, Bats.
Good morning, Thrill. Good morning, Kenny.
Hey, good morning.
Go for it. I already heard. I mean, you requested up. You had a question on your
Yeah, I did have a question. Even though you may not be partaking in closed practices, Kenny, is it still possible to maybe misuse other cultures' practices?
Absolutely, and that's why I try my best, knock on wood, to like do my proper research before I integrate it into any of my practices, because I know these are sacred grounds that I'm walking on.
How do you verify that you are treating them appropriately? Do you have anything to I guess, help you figure that out?
Yeah, asking people in the practice themselves, cross-checking scripture, cross-checking tradition, making sure that there's a proper representation being done in my syncretism, rather than just blatant copying or blatant appropriation.
Why do you seek another culture's beliefs or do you also seek your own ancestral beliefs?
I'm a bit of
That's a good question. So give me a second to explain that. My culture, I feel like, or my ancestral culture is kind of like unknown to me. Like I come from Hindu ancestors, but they converted to Islam when they came to South Africa to as slaves. So I'm not really sure what my ancestors, and then my great-grandfather was from Burma. So I'm not really too sure what my ancestral practices might have been.
Is there a reason you're looking into these practices instead of your own?
Yeah, I think the reason why is because I'm frankly fascinated by them, and that I think that they have a sort of continuity amongst other different practices.
I think they used to say something about imitation is something of flattery. Does it not concern you that maybe you might be appropriating beliefs?
Yeah, that's the most pressing issue that Thrill and his crew kind of pressed on me last time, and it's been something I'm trying to work through myself, understanding how I could do these cultures justice and do them proper dues.
Who determines in the end what's proper and what's not proper as far as collecting beliefs?
I would say the originators of the practice. I've had open dialogues with many different practitioners of Judaic, Christian, Islamic practices, and I've asked them like, hey, like how do you see this hermetic integration? A lot of them are admittedly adverse to it because it's not orthodox standard, but there's some that are open-minded towards it because of the history Hermeticism has within being integrated into Abrahamic faiths.
Can I ask why Hermeticism out of all of them? Have you looked into all the other ones and just found this one to be more interesting?
Yeah, I think Hermeticism really interests me because of its how do I say this, non-dualistic approach, and it's open arms towards different philosophical presumptions. Like I kind of, if you're not familiar with the Corpus Hermeticum, which is the base Hermetic scripture, I won't explain the whole thing, but classical Hermeticists, middle Hermeticists, and neo-Hermeticists all have a different theological outlook. You can be an atheist and be a Hermeticist. You can be a dualist and be a Hermeticist. You can be a monist and be a Hermeticist. You can be a polytheist and be a Hermeticist. The fact that there's no theological premise that's superimposing upon you, I think, really interests me. I'd like to know how it's all logically coherent. It's something I'm struggling through myself or trying to figure out myself as I go along the way. And I hope you guys can help me better question the intellectual honesty of it.
Are you saying you're, I'm sorry, what were the three? There was classical,
middle, and neo. So
middle, they just call the ones in the middle.
Like the Middle Ages, like medieval and Renaissance.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So are you a classical Hermeticist?
I'm a neo-Hermeticist.
You're a neo-Hermeticist, so Kybalion.
No, Golden Dawn.
Okay.
Kybalion is not really neo-Hermeticism. It's more like New Thought disguised as classical Hermeticism.
So the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn.
Yes, sir.
What is the distinction here?
But pardon? Distinction compared to what? The different eras?
not necessarily the different eras. What separates this form of neo-Hermeticism from classical Hermeticism?
That's a good question. So, so classical Hermeticism is usually based on the first millennium's kind of thoughts on Hermeticism. So a classical Hermeticist would typically look at the Greco-Egyptian paganism that surrounds the Hermetic thought, whereas Neo-Hermeticism specifically explores a lot more of the westernized kind of ceremonial practices. Just some very peaceful music, by the way.
Is hang on. What is it you learned specifically from this Order of the Golden Dawn about your monad?
Well, what I've learned specifically in the Golden Dawn about the monad is how it connects with us, how to bring myself back up towards the monad, and most importantly, how to mentally fortify myself so that when I come into contact with divinity, I'm whole and I am sober-minded. Because I don't want to get too personal, but like I said, one of the
You said you learned how to connect with it, or how it connects with us.
Yeah.
How does it?
So it connects with us through emanation, like I said.
Emanation, just through like when you, like the stink when you chop an onion, just emanates.
That's quite a way of talking about it. But yeah, the odors emanate from an onion can kind of be seen as emanation. Yeah, I wouldn't take too much offense to that.
Does that mean our existence, if this were true, could be something as passive as BO? Like, could the God not even know we're there because he's so used to the stink?
It's not necessarily, I wouldn't really say that the God doesn't know that we're there. God knows everything. It's just rather that could you possibly rephrase the question, meaning that reality is indistinct like body odor?
If you fart right now, are you going to care about the lingering cloud, except to maybe get up and walk away?
I'm not following too much of what this question entails. I'm sorry.
I'm asking how you feel about your emanations.
So, how I feel about emanations.
About your emanations.
Yeah, how I feel about my emanations. Oh, my emanations. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. I mean, even though, like, let's say I pass wind, right, and I wish to avoid it because I find that to be undesirable. It doesn't mean that it disappeared, right? It still affects the environment around.
Sure, it exists. It affects the environment. But do you, as the one who emanated, care?
Well, I would care because
you would care about your emanation.
I would try to care about what I'm putting in my system more that caused the emanation.
Yeah, I'm not worried. So you worry. So the monad worries about what it eats.
What it goes. What
it
reflects. It cares about what it reflects.
But how do you know it cares about what it reflects?
Well, that's the thing. That's where faith comes into play, right? I'm not gonna say I know for sure why it cares about what it reflects upon, or what that would be beyond my pay grade. I would say you got me cornered there, brother.
So why think of it in a godly way at all, if it is just a being who could have passed the gas that we are in?
Well, I think it's important to have a sort of godly connection or godly understanding, because even if you kind of come to, I'll entertain.
Is it really an understanding, though, if it is just kind of some guy's idea made up of other people's ideas? And at the end of the day, the God at the end of it, I mean, from at least this description, doesn't seem to. We have no way of knowing if it would know we're even here or care.
I agree. Like, but that's the whole like part of the journey. I think is to understand that if there is like a caring connection, while most religions will.
Why would there be a caring connection?
Exactly. That's the whole epistemological foundational connection, a question behind my journey, basically.
Mm-hmm. Can you think of any reason why there should be some connection?
Yeah, I could. The reason why I think and this is something I think goes through your entire life, not really too much of an answer you can get fully throughout your entire life, but an answer I kind of came to, and this is subject to change, and I hope you can change it too, is that if everything is a product of God's emanation, then there should be a relational care, not because it's distinct, but because there is a essential kind of connection there. There's an essential. I'm sorry if I'm going in circles, but there seems to be through emanation.
The emanation connects us, and there's a relation.
Yeah.
How do you know there's any kind of relation? What indicates that there's any relation between us, the broken wind, and the monad windbreaker?
Well, what does passing wind a product of? It's a product of what we consume, right?
So then we are a product of what the monad consumes.
Absolutely, I would.
How do you know what it's consuming, and why does the wind care if it came from beans or asparagus?
I think it's important to know where you come from, even if you're disappointed on if where you came from isn't where you expect. I think knowing where you come from is an integral part of living.
Knowing where you come from. In what way are you knowing anything here? What is the knowledge you're claiming?
Well, the knowledge I'm claiming is that we all share a foundational essence amongst all of us that you could call God. Definitely could call the foundational essence that we all share amongst ourselves God.
Why?
Some people choose to call it other things, but
why would you call the foundational essence, and what does that even mean, foundational essence?
So like a soul almost.
So now we have souls. What are souls?
Life essence. So
life essence. What is life essence?
The thing that drives you to live. Like a heartbeat.
The thing that drives you to live. What does that mean? Like
a spiritual heartbeat, almost, I guess you could say.
Sorry, survival instinct.
Yeah, survival instinct.
That drives you to live, right?
Yeah, but who's the one telling you to survive?
What do you mean, who? Why are you inserting a who there? If it's survival instinct, why do I need a who at the end of that?
Because survival instincts are usually a product of a thinking or a feeling. Right?
I'm thinking, I'm feeling, I'm instincting.
Yeah, usually there has to be something that you receive.
Why? What are you talking about?
Survival instincts are something that you receive, correct?
What do you mean? Why would that be something you receive?
It would be something. It would be something you receive because it comes
receive
upon you.
From where?
What
do you mean?
A good question.
Could it not be a product of evolution? Or really
The evolution of what though? The
a
mind, right?
factor of it?
So
I'm sorry.
even in evolution,
I'm sorry.
even in evolution there's a beacon where there's something you're receiving, right?
No, I have no idea what you mean there. That doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
Evolution is a beacon you're receiving.
Yeah, like your mind
What does that
evolving,
mean?
like your mind evolving, your body evolving. These are all.
This isn't telling me anything about the beacon. What are you talking about? Evolution is a
Perhaps
beacon your
I
body's
used the
receiving.
wrong. Perhaps I used the wrong terminology. I made a categorical error there. I'm sorry, but what I meant is that even in evolution, I think with the body or the mind, there's something that's giving the core self that feeling or that survival instinct. Or
Why do you think there's something giving it? Why can't you be producing it?
because what is
Or
you,
it
right?
to be a... I'm sorry, what?
Because what is you, right?
What does that mean? What is you?
We tend to.
In this case, I think we'd be talking about the biology, right? The body producing, or not even necessarily producing, but utilizing its evolutionary survival instinct.
But are we the body though?
I don't know. Why would you think that we're not?
I would think that we're not because our body tells us things that our core essence.
Tells us? What do you mean tells
No,
us?
figuratively. Our body speaks to us in ways that we would disagree with at a core basis. Like, for example, I like I said, I'm not trying to get
Disagree
too.
with.
I'm not gonna get too personal here, but like sometimes my heart will beat or I'll get palpitations for things that are unhealthy for me, and I have to disagree with it and be like, that's not what I want, right? So if we are the body, then we would listen to every single inclination that our body gives
How do you
towards
know?
us.
Wait. No, you're saying we would listen to every inclination our body gives us, but
If we were the
wouldn't
body,
it,
yeah.
Stop though. But wouldn't it make sense that our mind, this thinking thing, wouldn't have the wouldn't it have the ability to reason that certain things that our impulses might make us want to do will have consequences?
For sure, but then you get into a
Within
dilemma
reason.
of what's the mind, right? Is the mind
Right,
the
so
brain
why
or is
would
the
you-
mind?
So why, again, back to the body, why would you think that the mind would be anything other than a product of the brain? What reason would you have to believe that?
The thing that inclines me to believe that the mind is more than just the brain is that the mind can. Just my overall experiences with the mind has inclined me to believe that the mind is more than just neurons flowing through your brain. The places I've been with my mind, the places I've experienced with my mind.
Places that you've been, that's not telling me anything. What is it that indicates that those places that you've been aren't just imagined within the mind?
Well, even if they are, the fact that the mind can take you beyond like sensory places, I think is, even if it's your brain playing tricks on you, the fact that it's that's a good question, honestly. Let me not just answer to respond. Let me take a second to deliberate on that.
It's interesting. I appreciate the time taken to think. However, I think the answer that you've avoided for every one of these questions that could have fit nearly all of them would probably be best.
What exactly do you think the answer is?
What was the question I just asked? Remind us.
Why does the places that the mind take us not just be delusions from the brain?
Okay, fair enough. Do you know the answer to that?
Well, my rational side is telling me that it's because it is. But a part of me beyond my rationality wants to incline that there's not just a sensational spark in my brain. So I know that rationality isn't the only approach to life.
I have to step away for just a second, but I am listening. Bats, do you have any questions?
Yeah, so I was wondering why, Kenny, you have a lot of assumptions about the brain and the mind being separate. Did you do any research or study on the brain to come to this conclusion, or is it something more or less you read about?
It's neither. It's not something I really researched on the brain. I admittedly didn't research. It's just more of stuff I experienced in my life that I've come to conclude in terms of what the distinction between the mind and the brain is, because I see the experiences I have, and I rationally want to make sense of it being that, oh hey, it's just all a product of my brain. But the more experiences I have throughout my life, I'm finding it hard to just only rationalize it as products of my brain.
The experience you have, you're talking about like anecdotal evidence?
Yeah, anecdotal evidence, unfortunately.
Yeah. Besides anecdotal evidence, do you have any other reason to believe the mind is separate from the brain?
No, I'm pretty much solid on the idea that the mind and the brain are interconnected. But I typically like to argue that it's not, because I know that, like I said, I know rationality isn't the only approach to life. I know emotions exist, irrationality exists, and I think irrationality is sometimes a sane response to an insane world that we live in. So
how would you define like whether it's rational or irrational? Like what is?
That's a good question. So what I like to think is rational, irrational. I like to think of rationality as discerning, right? Rationality is able to distinguish, right? And I find irrationality as almost like an incoherent kind of like lack of discernment. I guess you could say a lack of reconciliation or separation, even to a certain degree.
So how do we determine though what's rational, unrational? What's the method we use?
That's a good question. I think the method we use is just really like being able to contemplative methods. I think are a really good way, instead of just like doing what I'm doing right now and just like being on the spot, like actually sitting down and like weighing out the options of things, and weighing out the possibilities, and weighing out the methodical kind of structure of things. I think is a huge contributing factor to finding out what's rational, what's irrational.
What would be an example of a contemplative method? I'm sorry.
CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy.
Okay, so you think you avail yourself to mental health research and stuff?
Yeah, I have schizophrenia. Yeah.
Oh, I have DID, so yeah, I avail myself too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Do you find that CBT helps you determine what's rational easily, or
Yeah.
or do you use other things too?
Yeah, I would say CBT helps me understand what's rational and what's possibly logically incoherent.
Yeah, but cognitive behavioral therapy teaches you a lot about how to respond in moments of stress and high emotions and things like that.
For sure.
but I'm not entirely sure where exactly it helps you evaluate what is rational or not. Is it because of you evaluating the sentence, you're staying in the moment, or how exactly do you? Because I could have an experience that I would find very irrational. I'm sure both of us have had experiences that are like, I don't know if that's real or not. And then you have to evaluate, okay, how is this real? Did anyone else see it? What other senses involved? Like, you have to, but I don't see that as much in cognitive behavioral therapy. Is maybe something I'm missing?
Perhaps, because the way my therapist kind of described CBT to me is that if there is a sensational thought coming your way, she kind of put me through this method of the 3 C's: catch it, check it, or change it, right? So it's like, that's kind of how it was taught to me, is that you can kind of catch the thought in its like motion, or you can check it or be like, hey, like, what's like the basis here? What's the like you said previously, like, has it been observed by other people? Has it been sensed? This, that, and the third, and then changing it ultimately, which is, if this is not a desirable or rational thought, then how could I change this into something that is?
I'm sorry, are you pacing?
Yes, I am. I'm sorry. You want me to stop?
It's okay. I wasn't unsure what the sound was. That it was bothering me for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. If it helps you think, it helps you think.
Yeah, it just helped me think a lot. Yeah.
Hello, Thrill.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
You were never really alone.
Aw.
That's always very
sweet.
Comforting.
That's sweet.
Because I was a little bit feeling alone right there for a moment.
Well, and you got Kazoo here too.
Hey,
And
Kazoo.
we have somebody else in request.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Who's never
Kazoo.
requested before. And the person in request right now, I don't think you know you're in request. So I'm going to set you down. And if you meant to be, then you definitely can request back up. Oh.
Did he come back up? Or she or he? It? Them?
They, and I didn't realize I still had a segue.
Yeah, music got lit all of a sudden.
It did. It did.
Kenny, cognitive behavioral therapy for me, I've done it, and it catches it. It's a way for you to catch that thought before it sends you into like an irrational orbit. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
yeah. Okay. Does it work for you?
I would say so, yeah. That's something we touched up on last time when they calmed me down in our last talk, is that I touched up on how I was actually having an irrational, I don't want to get too personal, but
No, you don't have to. You're good.
but I was substance abusing the last time I was in Thrill's live, and I felt like I did a great disservice to him. And at the very least, even if I embarrassed myself again on this live, I wanted to, at the very least, give a redo in a cleaner state, in a cleaner mind, and in a cleaner body, and a cleaner everything, basically. And part of my sobriety journey has been using CBT to understand, like, if a urge to indulge comes into play, I understand that this is just a temptation, or this is just a negative kind of relapsing thought that I can rationalize out of to explain that, hey, this is not conducive to what I want to be as a person or how I want to grow.
You're doing the work, man. Keep it up.
Yeah, you got, as for what you're doing is very admirable, and someone's also going through mental health. I know the hard work. Good job.
Oh, I appreciate that.
So far, Kenny, you've done much better this time.
Oh, thank you. I'm not going to spiels or sermons like you said last time, right?
That's right. You've
We all
limited
don't.
your answers to more direct, short, sometimes poetic and meandering, and not necessarily.
That's just me. You can't really change that about me.
No, but and that's just it. You're not being condescending or bulldozing, and I remember it got a little like that last time. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
appreciate
sorry.
that.
That's what. I'm not gonna say that's what drugs do to you. I'm not gonna make excuses, but
Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming up and giving it a more honest effort this time. Does it matter to you if Hermeticism is true, if this monad necessarily exists? Does that is it really that important that that is true?
well, when I go to sleep at the end of the night, I always throw this idea in the back of my head that, you know what, I could be BSing the whole time. And I think that whatever's out there is beyond my religious understanding of it. Although it's beyond my religious understanding of it, I still have that faithful idea that it's kind enough to me that it'll be lenient towards my misunderstanding if I did make a misunderstanding of my beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Does it? You're saying whatever exists, you believe is kind enough that it won't matter if you're wrong. But what I'm asking is, I guess, do you need for a god or something like it to exist?
I would say so. I would say I personally, I don't think everyone else does, but I think I personally am in need of a higher power because it gives me a sense of purpose and a sense of direction. And
Do you think you couldn't find purpose or direction without some supernatural force?
I experience meaninglessness without a supernatural force. So I'm not gonna say I know that for sure, but I've experienced it.
You said you've experienced meaningless without. Do you think that necessarily you will
Equates to without God.
that it would always be?
I wonder. That's a good question, and I wonder that a lot, to be honest. In my own personal life, I always wonder if my sanity is contingent upon my beliefs, and if that's the case, is that even a good thing? If my sanity is contingent upon my beliefs, because that's having a codependence on a higher power. Although it's like desirable in many religious paradigms, what I like about being a Hermeticist is that it's not as proselytizing as other faiths, where it's like, oh, there's something inherently wrong with you if you're not in my religion, or there's something bad about you if you're not in my religion, or this, that, and the third. Yeah.
Can I ask you?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Were people giving him some flack for like cultural appropriation of this?
Oh, we were questioning it. I don't know if it was flack.
Yeah, it wasn't flack.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
We questioned to see if he considered it, and
Yeah, it was the most important question that I think I took away from last time. By the way, I'll plug in, if you guys want to see the last one, it was November 19th, 2025. So he has all of his live streams
Very cool.
on his YouTube
On
channel.
YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube, yeah.
We try to, anyways. Sometimes we
Nice YouTube
glitches
shout, I
along the
like
way.
it.
But yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Link tree in the bio.
Plug.
In Bakelite and Thrail's bio both. Kenny?
So I take it, Kenny, you've gone back and watched.
Yeah, I did. I studied my my behavior. I didn't like it at all.
That's brave. I can't do that.
That is brave. That is brave. I don't even go back and watch.
I can't do it. I think I've changed. I changed too much, even from month to month, for me to go back and watch myself.
Yeah, I don't know.
I liked how I was able to like sober up near the end. At that point, I wasn't hitting the stizzy as much as I was at that, because it kind of made me drop it with like your intense questioning, and like made me realize like, shit, I'm being a jerk right here. So it was like I know I could have done better, and that's why I came here, because I know, even if I, like I said, I'm sorry if I repeat it, even if I do embarrass myself again like I did last time, I'll embarrass it on my own terms and not under the influence. And that's really what I wanted to do.
Well, you're far from embarrassing yourself this time, Kenny. You've demonstrated an ability to answer questions and contemplate them like most people don't. Well, not most. I'm not going to say most. I'm not going to discredit a lot of people who do question.
Yeah,
I appreciate. I appreciate your willingness to answer questions directly and not in a jerk sort of way.
Yeah, you did great. I don't have any more questions for you now, Kenny, but I think, if you want to come back another time, I'm sure, we could always find more questions for you.
Yeah. Really
Yeah, and I hope you look back at this one and say, hey, like, if anything, there is an improvement from the last time. And if that gives you any sense of anything, like if that gives you the tiniest bit of satisfaction, I hope it finds you.
And of course, look for what else to scrutinize too, because that's you can't even help it. You can't even help it.
Never find it in peace, man.
Y'all played your hand at the end, eh? Y'all scrutinizing me.
But I really appreciate you, Kenny, and I hope that you keep asking questions. I hope we get to talk to you again.
Like I said, man, it's because of questioning that I'm here, and I will continue to question to the end of my life. So
Appreciate you.
love, bro. Peace.
Big W's for Kenny. That was really good compared to last time.